Sarah and I were coming home from Montana this past week, and we took the drones with us. We took the Mavic 2 Zoom and the DJI Spark. All I got around to flying with was the Mavic 2, which was probably a good thing. As you can see, it was really windy. But this, we were coming home from Helena, Montana, and we got just south of Boulder, Montana, and we stopped here at the High Ore exit, it was called, and got a little view of the Boulder River. So just to kind of give you context, this is just probably 30 miles or so north of Butte on Interstate 15, but I mostly just wanted to give you a flavor of what the countryside looks like there in Montana, and really kind of a nice view of the Boulder River. There a little bit of the, as you can see, as we were coming home, obviously we were on an interstate highway, so it limits the places that you can pull over, but we tried to find an exit where we could get off and get some nice footage. It was, like I said, it was windy, although not all that cold. I'm going to say it was probably in the 50s Fahrenheit. My European friends will have to convert that to centigrade, but in any case, yeah, this is a fun trip. So I'll let you kind of listen to the music and look at the mountains here. We took the Birch Creek Road exit off of Interstate 15 on our way south into heading to Idaho. So this is south of Butte, Montana, but just north of Dillon, Montana. I tried to kind of name some of the mountains that I saw here, looked on the map and tried to figure out which was which, so I believe I got most of them right. If not, please let me know in the comments below. But in this part of the flight, I kind of wanted to show what the high plains look like in Montana, surrounded by mountains. This is typical of what you can see in the western United States. So it's kind of an interesting little pan around here. I think it's really breathtaking to see the mountains in the distance. And then the freeway and the railroad as it cuts across Idaho and Montana. Obviously the railroad in the 1800s was a big deal, and this is the way it came through into Montana, and that long ribbon of highway. So I'll just let you look at a little of this, and we'll turn the music back up. Watch out for rattlesnakes. As we were traveling south on Interstate 15 heading towards Idaho, we stopped at the Red Rock rest stop that's just south of the Clark Canyon Reservoir. This reader board kind of tells the story of how the roads got established between Utah and Montana. Kind of interesting reading, so you can pause there and read that if you like. It also shows how much wind we were facing that day. That's a big heavy sign, and it was blowing around. And I have to say that the Mavic 2 is just unbelievably, handles the wind unbelievably, I should say. It does a great job, although I will also say I didn't venture very far away from it because, you know, you never know which direction you're going to be fighting the wind trying to get the drone back. So discretion is the better part of valor there. But there again, really interesting landscape here in between the mountains. And I kind of tried to label them here so you could see what it was. And then we brought the drone in for a little bit of landing. It's kind of interesting here. I'd taken off right about where that white car is parked. It never fails. We're the only ones there, and then somebody pulls in. So I moved it over to find another landing spot. So let's listen to a little bit more Tchaikovsky. That lady was explaining to me how her brother had lost his drone trying to land it. At DuBois, Idaho, we turned west on Highway 22 towards Arco, Idaho, and in doing so we crossed the Idaho National Labs nuclear reservation, and we ran into this reader board at a rest stop in DuBois that explains the Idaho National Lab and its role in developing not just nuclear power, but nuclear power for America's Navy. So it was pretty fascinating, and take your time to pause and read this if you'd like, and you'll see more relevance of this as we get into Arco. Well, we made it to Arco, but as you can see, it was unbelievably windy there. So I'd intended to fly the Spark, but obviously declined to do so based on the wind. In any case, this is kind of interesting. You don't expect to see a submarine sail in the middle of dry land in the middle of Idaho. Well, of course, with Arco's being so close to the INL, the nuclear reservation, where a lot of the Navy's reactors were designed and built and naval personnel trained. That's why it's here. And this is the sail from the USS Hawkbill, as you can see, that was commissioned in 1971, and I think was in the water through 2000. So then you can see the S-27 here. That was a submarine that was grounded in the Aleutians. I'm not sure why that is relevant, because I don't know if it was named Hawkbill as well. I couldn't see that. But then they compare the two submarines on that list. And then this is a Mark 14, I believe it is, torpedo. So you can take time to read that plaque. Just kind of a little bit of interest there. And then as we move to the back to the other side of these monuments, this is the submarines that were lost in World War II, and that other one was the survivors from the S-27 in the Aleutians. What you're looking at here is really interesting. That is a nuclear reactor containment vessel, as it would have been on a submarine. This is a little tiny museum. I've been in it in the past. It was closed today. But it's kind of interesting to see this containment vessel, and obviously this one was just for show. It never had any radioactive material in it, never was used, but kind of interesting to see that. And then again, looking at the sail from the SSN Hawkbill, I hope I didn't call it the USS earlier. It's the SSN Hawkbill, and it has an interesting number on it, 666. That was its naval number. So from here we proceeded across the park, and there's some kind of interesting stuff over there as well. Oh, I should say that I should have probably started with this sign right here that shows what the what this little park is. Idaho Science Center, the Hawkbill in Arco, Idaho. Arco is a really tiny little town that I think mainly services ranches in the area, as well as I'm quite sure that people that work at the Idaho National Labs live there. So this is really interesting here. This is a memorial to our armed services and to our prisoners of war and missing in action. And I really like this plaque that they put up here. Basically, they're thanking anybody that has defended the freedom of the United States and all patriotic Americans. I thought that was really well stated. So really just a nice little memorial there, and all the branches of the service are represented. And then walking further out here, this is an interesting sculpture, and obviously it speaks to the heritage in Arco with the nuclear reservation close by, kind of a sculpture of an atom, so made out of stainless steel. And by the way, they were getting, those plants are all dead, of course, just coming out of winter into spring. And I noticed they had some potting soil there. It looked like they were getting ready to replant those, but really kind of an interesting sculpture. This was our last opportunity to fly the drone on our way home. This is on Highway 20 on a little spot called King Hill, a little pull off there. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity to kind of show some of the scenery as we got closer to home. It's kind of due west of Fairfield, Idaho, and I would say it is northeast of Mountain Home, Idaho. Interesting landscape, and This is one of the things I love about the West. As you can see, it's still cold enough up here that there's quite a few patches of snow. So I'm going to shut up for a second and we can listen to a little more Tchaikovsky. I want you to take note of something right here. Take a look at this pickup pulling a fifth wheel camper pulling in right now. He kind of plays into this video here in a second. So I did a quick droney, kind of a pull away shot. He watched Sarah and I waving at the camera as the drone pulled away. And take a look at what he does here. I then decided to do an asteroid, and Sarah and I are waving. And look at that, he photobombed us, waving all the way out. I thought that was hilarious. So at any rate, I guess this is about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. And most of all, I just really appreciate you looking at this video. And thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one.